The Star Wars creator George Lucas once famously said, "We are all living in cages with the door wide open." All these prisons, cages that we feel we're locked in, whether that be professionally or personally, are mostly self created. And the beautiful thing is, we can walk right out. They're mental, emotional cages. We learn to break free of them. In work, we feel like we've got this golden cage that we're trapped in, where we are tied to the paycheck, the way of living, like we can't do anything else but endure this for years or decades into the future. And you want something so much more for yourself, for your family, but you feel like you can't leave this golden cage because it's got you. And you've got all these invisible shackles just holding you there. Well, today, my friend, we're going to shine a light on all those invisible shackles so you can break them and get out of that cage. Let's dive in. Welcome to Uncage Yourself. I'm Matt Doan. On this show, we explore strategies to help family-focused professionals smartly graduate corporate life and build entrepreneurial freedom. Our goal? Maximize freedom, income, and impact. See MatthewDoan.com for more. Now, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at 15 invisible shackles that are binding you to a golden 9-to-5 prison. That cage that you might feel yourself in right now, where you can't see life outside of the paycheck in the way of living that you've been going through for so many years. And let's be real, you are your own worst enemy here. Now, that might hurt, but it's also empowering because you have the keys to getting out of this cage. And like George Lucas said, the door is wide open. We've just got to learn to step out. So let's break those shackles. Here are those 15 invisible shackles that are really binding people into that golden cage. Number one, we live with all head and no heart. This means that you've got this relentless logic suffocating the passion that could fuel your graduation. You're always using your corporate mind, analytical, logical, trade-off analysis, always looking for the numbers to tell you what's possible about, say, entrepreneurship. And when you just use your head, you ignore your heart, which is truly the key to saying, I'm meant for something more than this golden cage. Don't get trapped in using purely your head, because your heart needs to have an equal, if not a greater voice. The second shackle is when self-doubt paralyzes progress. You've got to understand every innovative idea, if you let it wither under this acid rain of your insecurity, is going to destroy you. Now, just like when you feel that imposter feeling about entering something new, say entrepreneurship, say you're trying to graduate corporate life, that self-doubt's going to kick in. It's new, it's scary. Just like every other new and scary thing you've done in your life, self-doubt will come in. The question is, does it mean enough to you to break through that self-doubt and create a new chapter in your life? Or are you going to let it paralyze your progress? The third shackle is when we are blinded by traditional paths. This is when you're so fixated on climbing the corporate ladder and all the traditional things you've been doing for so many years and degrees and certifications and promotions that you can't see the entrepreneurial elevator right next to you. You're in this crowded climb up the ladder and you look up and you don't even want any more of it. You know that if you go up the next rung, life is going to hurt even more. You might say, I don't even want that promotion. So look to your side. You've got this entrepreneurial elevator that you can jump into. With the right structure and momentum, you could build something beautiful on your own. But if you're only aware of traditional paths, you'll never understand what an extraordinary path of your own design could ever be, because you're only following people and ideas that know what the default path truly is. Fourth shackle is when you feel trapped in comfort zone captivity. This is when your golden cage of familiarity has become this sort of self-imposed cell. You're just like, oh, it's safe, secure, stable. And, my family knows me for bringing in the bread. Oh, and my spouse, if they ever saw me lose the paycheck safety, they would just wither and die. They might leave me. Oh my goodness, what could happen? And you just feel trapped. You've got all these stories just keeping you small. People around you, ideas, stories that you're putting into your own mind, and it is running your experience of this world. It's keeping you in captivity. So we can't let our familiarity or what other people believe is best keep us small anymore. We've got to break free of comfort because we all know all growth requires extreme discomfort. Fifth shackle, where you are just wishing for something new, but never committing. Dreams without deadlines are just mirages in your personal desert. You might wish for something like financial and time freedom. You use those words, but my goodness, you are so far off from ever putting that into action, even from really defining what that means to you. And without definition, without momentum, and without commitment to making that a reality, you'll never find the mentors, the strategies, the tactics to ever make that come to reality. So you sit on the sidelines wishing, using words, but you're never in the arena where you've committed to get on the field and do something miraculous, remarkable for your life. You've got to commit. Committing is the jump start for all sorts of movement into a new direction. Hey, are you done with corporate life? Are you ready to leverage your success and finally build entrepreneurial freedom? If so, check out uncagedworkshop.com for my secret guide on smartly graduating corporate and building a business you love. It's a short training video that could forever change how you experience work and life. Head to uncagedworkshop.com or see the link in the show notes. Now, back to the show. Number 6. This shackle is when you are knowing what's best for you, but never transforming. Knowing does not equal transforming. So think of all those podcasts and books that you listen to or read. Yeah, that's great. You're cramming your mind. It feels good. You feel smarter, more knowledgeable. You can speak to this book, that idea. But it's all just gathering dust while your life stays stagnant. You're creating this amazing bookshelf of self-help and psychology works, but is it really changing your life in any big way? Knowing does not equal transforming. Transforming means you're in an environment doing strategic, hard work to bring this new life. So let's say you want to graduate corporate and build a business of your own. Are you in an environment with structure, community, and accountability that forces that transformation? Or are you just sitting smart, theoretically knowing what's best without ever doing anything massive in your life? Remember, knowing does not equal transforming. Transforming comes from doing the work in the environment, like being in a gym. Number 7, this addiction to passive growth. This is where you're consuming inspiration like candy, but you never convert it into meaty action. You're always just around social media posts and content and people that make you feel better. And it's just passively running through one ear, out the other, but it's never really doing anything meaningful for you. So this passive growth addiction is keeping you right where you are. You need to get into the active state, just like the last shackle, where we know we need to get into the environments that get us going. The 8th shackle is when we are blind to the power of small investments. I see this every week, where you scoff at the idea that even one half or one full paycheck could completely birth a whole new rich life for you, uncaging yourself forever. You look at, let's say, a small amount of money in the grand scheme, and you think, oh, I could never invest that in myself. So what? You then sign up for years or decades of something you hate, rather than investing in yourself in the here and now to completely alter the course of your life and your career. You've got to understand how to invest. Just like you're pumping money into a 401k or stock portfolios, you're like, that's sensible. I'm building for the future. Well, what about right now? Are you actually going to invest in yourself in a real, meaningful, scary way that activates your attention? Remember, attention flows where money goes. So when you put real investment towards something, say a mentor, a program, a mastermind, something that actually gets you into action, that's going to be huge. It's going to bring that rich life to life if you do it well. Do not underestimate what a small investment in the grand scheme can do for radically changing your life. The number 9 shackle is when we are addicted to other people's systems. So let's say by now you've mastered playing by other people's rules. You've been on a certain path in your career. You know how to play it. You master the office politics, and you're really good at it. You're gaming the system. You know how it works. You're flying up the ladder. You feel like a big shot and you've gotten great rewards. That's awesome. It's a foundation. You should be really proud. I know I was. But at some point, you need to learn to write your own rules, work in your own system, because you're going to max out. You're going to hit ceilings. You're going to hit situations where they no longer want you. Yeah, it hurts to hear. I see it every day. They no longer want me, Matt. I was laid off, Matt. I'm just a number, Matt. A new leadership regime came in, Matt. At some point, playing in other people's systems runs out of time. You run out of room. So you've got to learn to write your own rules in your own system. Number 10, this shackle is huge. When our corporate minds of skepticism trump what we need, which is truly possibility. Skepticism trumps possibility. This is very dangerous, where our inner critic has this PhD in dream crushing. We're always skeptical and saying, well, here's the reasons this won't work. Here's the reasons I can't invest in myself or do this program or become a business leader. I can only stay where I am. I'm very skeptical of everything around me. Okay, you're going to be endlessly skeptical of any meaningful risk because you know meaningful risks are the only thing that create meaningful rewards, right? If you play small with risk, that means you're playing small with the rewards. So you stay trapped on this default path. We need to minimize skepticism and really embrace possibility. That's what I learned in moving from corporate to entrepreneurship, to embrace possibility at a whole new level. That needed to be my dominant mode of thinking. Number 11, this shackle is when life feels cluttered and dreams are suffocated. So think about your calendar overflowing with other people's priorities and you're always saying yes to everything. By default, let's say you keep your work calendar open and let it be loaded up with 15, 30, 60-minute meetings. And you feel this pressure, like you have to attend everything. Like, who am I to say no to any of this stuff? So you've got no space in your life. You've got no energy. You've got no room for your aspirations. Your family life suffers, your health suffers, and any sort of entrepreneurial dreams suffer because you've got no time, energy, or mental capacity in your days. If you let your life be cluttered by other people's priorities and don't protect it with a shield, you are going to suffocate your dreams, and you don't want to end up in that space. We have to take extreme ownership. Number 12, this shackle is when you are surrounded by dream killers. This means where you are surrounded by people that only understand the default path, that only understand how to play it safe, to rise up in traditional systems, climb ladders, all of that. Instead, our social circle needs to be a round table of dreams, not logic. Otherwise, your dreams will get crushed. So you have to embrace that. Who am I surrounding myself with actively? What are the conversations? What are the energies I'm letting into my mind? What are the new thoughts that are drowning out all of that scarcity thinking? People instead are programming abundance in my mind. How are you getting around peers, mentors, coaches, heroes of yours? Not just in books, but actively conversing with them, working with them, in environments with them, doing transformational work with them. How are you doing that? Upgrading that circle so that they become the dominant thoughts in your mind so that you take the right actions. Number 13, this shackle is when we see misguided self-sacrifice. So you might be the captain going down with a ship your family never asked you to command. You might say, I am the noble provider. And there's a lot to admire in that when you are providing for your family. But when you are doing it all out blindly, I hear it all the time. Matt, I want to give my family the life I never had. So they get the cars, the vacations without you, they get the house, and what do they get? No dad, no husband, no mother, no parent. Like, it's just, you're not there. And that's what they need. So if you're self-sacrificing, you're actually backfiring all the great work you're doing. You're giving them things, but you're not giving them you. You're taking yourself down with the ship, and all they really want is you. And if you learn to respect yourself, go after your dreams, my friend, that is going to be the greatest gift you can ever give to them. That's why I left corporate. The big reason was to inspire my kids, to show them how I could live a self-directed life so that they could do the same. Do not think it's noble going down with the ship, giving them cars and houses and vacations that you're not even joining them for. Number 14, this is when you are chained to your past, where you've let your history become your destiny. forgetting that your future is unwritten. You just start to let everything you've done in the past. I'm a management consultant. I'm a sales professional. I'm a this or that. And you think that everything you've done professionally should dictate everything you're possible and able to do into your future. That is ridiculously limiting. One path for an entire life, narrow, predefined, chosen when you're like 22 years old, and you run that for 4 or 5 decades. That is insanity. Instead, do this. Always market your future, not your past. Always project forward to yourself, to other people. Here's where I'm going, the new and exciting vision. Don't just take your past and expand it into the future. Don't stay chained to your past. Now, the 15th and final shackle, this is huge. This is the fear of identity death. This is where you cling to your employee badge, your titles, your LinkedIn history, like it's your only source of oxygen, where you feel this identity, this thing I'm known for. People know me as the sales professional. People know me as a chief revenue officer. People know me as this. Like, my God, do you hear yourself speaking? How limiting, how sad is that? That losing that corporate identity feels like death to you. And I know that feeling. I was there too. But do you understand that clinging to that identity creates the death of you, the real version of you that has endless possibility and your family is counting on you? Don't let the identity from your past control your future. We need to learn to say goodbye to that. Say, thank you. That served me in the past, but I'm going to create a new identity going forward. Listen, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of breaking these 15 shackles. I see them every single week. They cripple people, and they're understandable, right? This is the human condition coming in, trying to keep us safe, secure, stable. But we know what all of those characteristics actually do to our life. Now, if you'd like some help in breaking through it, book a breakthrough session with us. Go to matthewdoan.com/talk or check out the link in the show note, and we can dive deep into what all these shackles look like in your world, which ones are really chaining you down, keeping you in that golden cage, because my friend, you don't need to be in that cage anymore. Just like George Lucas was saying, the door is wide open. We can shed these shackles right now, because on the other side, you want this freedom to live. You want the income to enable this life you're after. You want to feel this impact to inspire people. This is what we're after: freedom, income, and impact to live this next chapter of our life, to create it amazingly. We have to get out of that golden cage. Don't let those shackles hold you in there anymore. They are self-created. They are not necessary. They are not real. So let's step out with boldness and go live our uncaged life. We'll chat soon. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. Check out matthewdoan.com to subscribe to the podcast and view our services and helpful resources. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, or just tell a friend. Talk soon.